Hello and welcome. Lagos is by far the largest city in Nigeria, surrounded by water from the sea and the lagoon. Now, taking supply from 6 major freshwater sources, which have a total safe yield of about 615.2 million gallons per day, the lagoon served as additional raw water source for desalination to meet the state water demand into the foreseeable future. Most of the time, the city gets its water from the likes of Ogun River, Osun River, Yewa River and Owo River, just to mention a few. Now, the city's oldest water treatment plant, located in Iju on the Ogun River, was built in 1910. Since then, up to the present time, there are 52 major waterworks, or 52 waterworks to be precise. 3 major ones, and of course 48 mini or micro waterworks. Now, despite these, however, it appears there are challenges as the body set up to ensure that there's regular potable water for Lagos residents. The Lagos Water Corporation is saying there's a deficit gap that needs to be filled, even as the population of Lagos keeps increasing by the millions. Our guest this week is the Managing Director of the Lagos Water Corporation, Mr. Shayo Holloway, as he speaks to us on what the challenges are, what needs to be done to meet current demand, what other programs are in the offing, and of course, projections. Join me in this interview as we examine these issues and more. I'm Ayatollah Balogun, and you're watching Question Time. Now, it's a great pleasure to have you with us, looking at the Lagos Water Corporation. You are the Managing Director. Of course, you have a mandate of making sure that potable, clean water is made available to every resident in Lagos State. Let's look at it from this standpoint. I mean, over the years, how would you say Nigerians or Lagosians have been finding your services as a major source for survival? I'm talking about the importance of water to life in everyday activity.
You know, given the large population of 20 million, which we currently have, which translates to a water demand of 540 million gallons per day, that is what ideally we should be supplying to Lagos State today. However, we only have a total installed capacity of 210 million gallons per day. In other words, if we had power 24 hours, 7 days a week, we are only able to optimize 210 million gallons per day. That is producing at 100% efficiency. We all know that is not possible to operate at 100% efficiency, and the status of power supply from the national grid is not much to talk about. So that challenge which we face, there's a demand gap of about 330 million gallons per day if we are operating at 210 million gallons per day. So there's a lot that needs to be done for us to meet that demand gap and also to provide for the future. It is projected that by year 2020, the population of the state will hit 29 million, with a water demand of 745 million gallons per day. To address our current water deficit and also to plan for the future, the Lagos Water Corporation developed a master plan in year 2010 that is taking us from the current 210 million gallons per day to 745 million gallons per day, when the demand at that time will be 733 million gallons. We will then have 15 million gallons excess capacity.
All right, Mr. Holloway, we'll still come back to the issue of the master plan that you talked about, but a quick one now. Tell us, what are the present water sources of the Water Corporation?
We have a total of 52 waterworks, consisting of 3 major waterworks, which are Adiyan, with an installed capacity of 70 million gallons per day, Iju, 45 million gallons per day, and Ishasi, 4 million gallons per day. These 3 major waterworks are supported by 48 mini waterworks. The major waterworks obtain their raw water from rivers. Iju and Adiyan take their raw water from River Ogun at Akute. After treatment at Adion and Iju respectively, they're then pumped into the network. Ishasi Waterworks takes its water from River Owo. After treatment, that supplies the Lagos-Badagry axis. The 48 mini waterworks derive their raw water from boreholes, that is groundwater, for treatment before being pumped into the network. The 48 mini waterworks are mainly community waterworks, while the major waterworks are more global in terms of their supply.
Now, let me take you up on some of the reactions, from some people out there, speaking to so many people. Some will say that in times past, yesteryears, that there was an era when pipes, cooperation pipes were usually connected to homes, but somehow that seemed to have fizzled out over time. What's your reaction to that?
No, that is not correct. It hasn't fizzled out. However, what we really need to consider is this. What was the population in the 70s, in the 60s, in the 70s? Probably under 6 million. The population has grown exponentially. Today, we're contending with a population of 20 million. Incidentally, our operations today, that is Lagos Water Corporation, is larger than that of Ghana Water Corporation, serving the entire country of Ghana. But then Ghana has one advantage over Nigeria: constant electricity supply. We need constant water supply to be able to operate our electromechanical equipment and pump water continuously.
You mean electricity supply?
Electricity supply. Water is a 24/7 operation. Now, coming back to house connections, yes, today we have a total network in about 2,400 kilometers. That is roughly from here to Kanu and back as the crow flies. That is our current network capacity. And that only covers about 30% of Lagos. For us to achieve global coverage of Lagos, as we are working towards, we need to have about 6,600 kilometers. That is longer than the distance of Lagos to London, just to give you an idea of what we're contending with. Now, we have developed a master plan to take us from 210 million gallons per day to 745 million gallons per day by year 2020. That master plan is going to cost us an estimated $3.5 billion.
Now, from your vantage point, from people you've talked to, from your own general assessment, doesn't it really bother you with the proliferation of boreholes, domestic boreholes scattered in so many areas across the state? What can be done, really?
Yes, it bothers me, and that is the driving force behind the master plan, behind our PPP policy thrust. Unfortunately, whilst the population of the state was growing exponentially, development of water infrastructure had not kept up with that pace. We are not pleased with the proliferation of boreholes. Most domestic boreholes do not go deep enough because Lagos has a high water table. So as soon as people strike water, they feel that is it, and they stop at that. They are basically abstracting water from what we refer to as unconfined aquifer. Unconfined aquifer is subject to septage pollution and also other surface pollution forms. For Lagos Water Corporation, on the average, our groundwater sources, our boreholes go as deep as 200 meters, 250 meters. That is our 48 mini waterworks that run on boreholes. We go that deep. That is going into the confined aquifer, which protects the groundwater from pollution. So we are concerned. We are trying to accelerate water infrastructure development.
And how has the Water Corporation been able to enlighten people over time on the dangers, or should I say challenges, of having domestic boreholes in their areas and communities?
Yes, we have been doing that, and it's going to be constant public advocacy to educate and ensure cooperation.
Let's look at the budget for the year 2014. How were you able to cope with the budget that you had? Were you able to achieve some of the things you set out for yourself as an organization?
Well, at least it's a reasonable budget. Adding phase 2 will be completed on that budget. But as I mentioned earlier, the state government cannot single-handedly fund the water sector, regardless of the budget, unless we plan to deprive the other sectors of the economy of money. And that is why the state government has embraced the PPP policy thrust.